Imela, let us do classwork one. We need to use the following information to prepare the monthly cash budget of Tower Limited for 6 months ending on 30 June 2022. And we've been given sales there. So these are total sales. They are not credit sales or cash sales. They just represent 100% of our sales. So these are total sales. Now, in number 3, they're telling us that 10% of all sales will be for cash. There you should be celebrating. I'm just going to focus on the projected sales for the budgeted period. If it ends in June, it will have started in January. So we'll only focus on January sales, February sales, March sales, April sales, May sales, and just multiply those sales by 10% to get cash sales, right? Those cash sales, I will simply record them in my cash budget as such. So they'll be recorded under receipts. For January, I'll have 28,800. For February, I'll have 28,000. For March, I'll have 30,400. April, it'll be 32,800. May, it'll be 31,200. And June will be 28,000. That's all I did. I just took my total sales and I multiplied them by 10%. That's it. That's all. That's all I did. All right. Let's move on. Still on sales. Obviously, we know that 90% of those sales will be credit sales. I will simply separate the two for all the months that I have been given. I will separate the two. So for now, I have all my total sales. I have already calculated my cash sales. Now I'm just going to calculate my credit sales, which is 90% of the total sales. But now credit sales are just credit sales. I'm owed these amounts, right? These amounts must be used to calculate amounts to be collected from debtors. These amounts must be recorded in the month of sales as cash sales. Oh, those will be the green ones, right? And obviously credit sales will be the ones that we have to use to calculate the amounts that we are going to collect from debtors. Now it will make complete sense. Now, for me to be able to determine the amounts that will be collected from debtors, I'll have to read more information and to get more information from the terms and conditions that we have with our debtors. And according to the information that we have, this is all I have here, which is we collect 40% in the month of sale, in the same month of sale, but we give them only 5% discount. Now, students have a tendency of taking 40% minus the 5%, and they're reducing our sales collection. You don't reduce your sales collection. Our sales collection for that month is 40%. We're not collecting 35%, we're collecting 40%, but we're only collecting 95% of 40%. I hope that makes sense. Of the 40%, we're only collecting 95% of it. Okay, we're not collecting 35, we're collecting 95% of the 40%. So the 40% that we're collecting, they won't pay us 100% of what they owe us. They'll only pay us 95% of what they owe us because we gave them 5% discount. I hope that makes sense. All right. And then we know that 50% will be collected in the month following the sale, and 7% will be collected in the second month after the sale. 3% we must write it off as bad debts. All right, let's use that information. Please note that when I calculate collection from debtors, I'm only going to use credit sales. You don't use your total sales, you only use your credit sales. So your credit sales have been given to you right there. So you are going to use 270, 288, 306, 259, 200, 252,000, 273, 600, 294, 200, and the 280, 800, as well as the 252,000. Those are credit sales I'm going to use to calculate the amounts that will be collected from debtors. Is that clear though? So when we calculate the amounts that will be collected from debtors, we only focus on the budgeted period. We only focus on the budgeted period. We together there. We only focus on the budgeted period. And our budgeted period, we only focus on collections that will be made in January, February, March, April, May, and June. We together there. Now you just have to quickly do your calculations based on the collection period and percentages. You just focus on the money that will be collected from January up until June. I'm going to start with October credit sales of 270. Are we going to collect any of that 270 in the budget period? And let's see. According to these terms, let's see. So according to these terms, 40% of October will be collected in October. 50% of October will be collected in November. And 7% will be collected in December. So none of October credit sales will be collected within the budget period. None will be collected in January or February or March. So that's why I won't even pay attention to the October credit sales. All right. So none of that will be collected in the budget period. Let's check that 288,000. 40% of that will be collected in November. 50% of that will be collected in December. Oh, 7% of that will be collected in Jan, and Jan is within our budget period. Now we will take that 288 multiplied by 7, and it'll give us the collection in January. What about December? 306 are credit sales for December. 40% will be collected in December. 50% will be collected in Jan, that is within our budget period. So we have to put it in our debtors collection schedule. And 7% of that 306 will be collected in Feb, which is in our budget period. All right. Let's go to credit sales for January. We have 259,200 as credit sales for January. 40% of that will be collected in January, but we'll only collect 95% of 40%. 50% of 259 will be collected in Feb, and 7% will be collected in March. And all of those are within our budget period. 40% of 259,200, 95% of 40% will be collected in January, which is 98,496. And 50% of 259,200 will be collected in Feb, and 7% of 259,200 will be collected in March. What are credit sales for Feb? It's 252. Multiplied by 40, multiplied by 95, and that will be collected in February. Multiply 252,000 by 50, that will be collected in March. Multiply 252,000 with that 7%, it'll give you the amount that will be collected in April, which is 17,614. What are credit sales for March? March credit sales amount to 273,600. For March, we'll only collect 95% or 40% of that amount. And that'll give you 103,968. 50% of 273,600 will be collected in April, and 7% of 273,600 will be collected in May. Let's continue. We've done March. We're going to go to April. 295, 200 times 40 times 95 will be collected in April. 50% of 295, 200 will be collected in May, and 7% will be collected in June. For May, we have 280, 800. Times it by 40%, times it by 70. 40% times it by 95, actually. And you'll take that 280, 800, multiply by 40, multiply by 95. It'll be collected in May. 50% of that will be collected in June, and 7% will be collected in July. But July is not within our budget period, so I will not put that in my debtors collection schedule. And for June, only the June one will be collected in June. 50% of 252 will be collected in July, and July is not within our budget period, and August is also not within our budget period. Total them out. This is what you will get as the total collections for that specific month. All these collections, we need to put it in our cash budget under receipts. Already we had the cash sales. Now we're going to put in collection from debtors, which is the total that we got from our debtors collection schedule. And you will notice that we don't have anything under receipts, so you can just total up because, I mean, that was already recorded for you. That's it. We good? That was nice, right? Please like, subscribe, and let your friends know about this channel. Thank you for watching. Khotso.